Grab y'all popcorn. Hear the story time. We're gonna go all the way back to 2019. Okay. So me and my coworker, we decided to go to this juke joint after work. Now I had never been there before, and being and she was just talking about let's go hang out, whatever, whatever, whatever. So I went. So as I'm leaving, crossing the street back to my vehicle, he crossed the street coming towards the club, and he stopped me. He was like, "Hey, hey, hey, drunk, drunk. Hey, hey, what's your name? What's your name? You from here? You from here? Thirsty, thirsty like that." And I'm like, "No, I ain't from here." Lie, I come up with a lie like that. I was like, "Nah, I ain't from here. I'm from Crystal Springs." Just lying. And so he was like, "Well, you on Facebook?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Look me up." And he told me his name, right? I said, "Okay." I looked this man up. Funny, he my friend. Okay. And on his page, he on the top of the page, it was nothing but pictures of him and his woman. I'm like, why you got a whole woman and you gonna tell me to look you up on social media? Knowing y'all got pictures up there. So immediately it was a no. Like, so that was the end of that. So, fast forward, it's 2020, it's my birthday. And so, I post, a couple of pictures, we had a birthday dinner or whatever, post a couple of pictures. He come, happy birthday, happy birthday. On my picture, happy birthday in the inbox. I said thank you. And then he kept on. So I remember him. I go back, I'm like, that's that dude from outside the juke joint, right? So when I get on this page, I don't see the girl no more. I don't see no pictures of her. So I, kept the conversation going. And he was just talking, little chit chat, whatever. So fast forward to a week or so later, it's Valentine's Day. And so at this point, I had given him my number, and we had started talking on the phone. And so he called me the night before Valentine's Day, and I was just talking about stuff I needed to do the next day. My son, I was supposed to have got him some Valentines to take to the school, but I forgot. So I was like, man, I gotta get up early and go get this boy some Valentines. You know how you just be talking about what you gotta do. So the next morning, he calls me early. He was like, "Hey, what you doing?" I say, "I'm getting my kids ready for school, woo-doo." And he said, "You ever get those Valentines?" And I said, "No." I said, "I was about to run to Walgreens or somewhere, real quick and go get them." He was like, "You need me to go get them?" And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good." So I must was about to run late. We was rushing and everything. So he calls me back. He said, "Hey, I got the Valentines for you. You want to meet me? You want to meet me and get them or something?" And I said, "Yeah, I'll meet you." And so I said, "I'll meet you in about 10 minutes. But 10 minutes passed. I still wasn't ready. He called me. He said, "I'm here, um, you okay? You gonna meet me or you need me to bring him to you?" I was like, "Nah, like you trying to figure out where I live at now." I'm like, "Nah, I don't think about that, man." So, and then he calls me back. He was like, "You sure?" So finally, I went on and I went on and told him my address because I really was pressed for time and I couldn't. It was just how I was going and how where I had to take my son to school at. Like it was far. I didn't feel like dropping him off, then coming way back to town to get the Valentine. Then come way back. I said, "You know what?" I said, "Yeah, go on, bring them." I say, when you bring them, I'm run out there and get them. Cause I don't want my boys to see you." He was like, "Okay, cool." he brought them, whatever, cool. That was nice. But anyway, went on drop my son off at school, and I went on to work. So I'm at the shop, and he calls. He said, "Hey, what you doing?" And I said, "Nothing at work." He said, "Come outside," cause I told him where I worked at, but I ain't think he was, where I worked at the time. The shop was like on the main street. You know what I'm saying? So he said, "Come outside." I'm like, "Oh Lord, what is it?" I'm like to myself thinking like, "Don't come in here, don't come in here," like in my workplace, cause I'm like, I ain't want nobody to see him talking to me. That's why I was thinking like, do not come to my job. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, I went outside. He had brought me some flowers, some candy, and all that. Happy Valentine's Day. Okay, that's nice. And was that. Okay, cool. So then, we just talking on the phone. And at that time, he had a neck brace on. Like, and he told me that he was in a car accident or whatever. And that's why he was in the neck brace. Okay. So, little time went on. I'm still like, I'm talking to him, but I ain't talking to him like that. Like, he'll just be checking up on me, see what I'm doing, that type stuff. And so, but I stay busy, so I ain't got time. Nope, I can't meet you. I ain't got time. So, so then the pandemic happened. So when the pandemic started, me and my kids, we just do stuff around the house. And so I went and got them a basketball goal. Yeah, I don't know nothing about no basketball goal. And I thought you just took it out the box and popped the poles out and popped the stuff, put it together like that. Like it was like one of them type of installs. I ain't know you had to put sand and water down at the bottom, and you need a screwdriver and all this other type stuff. So I was on the phone with him again, and I told him that I had bought my boys a basketball goal. He was like, you need me come put it together. And I'm like, no. I said, I'm gonna do it. I'll get my daddy to do it whenever he get off, He was like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah. But then he kept on. Let me come put the basketball goal. Let me go put it. And at the same time, he on the phone talking about, let me come put the goal together. And my kids over here on this side talking about, Mama, when you gonna put the goal together? And so I finally gave in. I said, yeah, you can come put the goal together. So he came, and he didn't come in the house. He was outside. He put the goal together, right? My kids excited. Now they can play ball. And so this the second time he came, just in the driveway. So still, I ain't talking to him like that. Like, we cool, but it ain't, ain't nothing like that. So, let me see what happened. Put the goal together. So then, I told him that it was some tree. No, he told me that he was helping his friend cut down some trees. I was like, really? You cut trees? I say, it's a lot of trees back behind the house that need to be cut. But I'm just talking, you know what I'm saying? So the next day he calls, he was like, when you want me to come look at the trees? And I'm like thinking like, nigga, I'm just talking. I don't want you to come over here and cut no damn trees down. And he was like, nah, for real, when you want me to come look at the trees? I want to come see, what's going on. Let me come look at the trees and everything. So finally, maybe a couple of days passed, and he done like pretty much like he was thirsty. Like, let me come look at the tree. Okay, he came, looked at him, and he said, I can go and cut these trees and everything. I could do all that. So it was a lot of them. They had grew up past the house. Like, it looked like a forest back behind the house. So he came and started cutting the trees down. Now this man, at that point, I think he had his neck brace off. And he was back there cutting trees down.